Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Colorado and some ballot initiatives and what those mean for somebody who gets talked about pretty frequently. And just kind of run through the dynamic because while this is a little different, you will probably see this same dynamic show up in other places during the next election. Okay, so we're doing this because I got a message and it says, hey, after Ohio, you said you could expect the Democratic Party to put things on the ballot about preserving reproductive rights and all of that. You were right. It happened in Colorado. First, this was already in the works before Ohio, so that was already on the way. I would expect to see more. And then it went on to say that commentators are saying that this spells the end of Boebert, that she won't get reelected because of this. And I want to know if that's true. Probably. My understanding is that there are two different ballot initiatives in Colorado that will drive, not even Democratic on one of them, drive progressive voter turnout. One is, of course, the reproductive rights, being able to enshrine reproductive rights in the Constitution of Colorado. That's going to drive Democratic voter turnout. It looks like there's going to also be something about ranked choice voting. That is going to drive progressive voter turnout. And by that, I mean people who are progressive enough to look at most Democratic candidates and be like Republican, like those people. Because they're in a situation right now where they very rarely get to vote for somebody they actually support. They're voting out of self-defense. If ranked choice voting was instituted, they could show up and vote for a candidate that they actually agreed with, rather than one that they disagree with the least, which is the situation they're in most of the time. Both of those are likely to drive voter turnout that will trend blue. As far as it being the end of Boebert's career in Congress, she won her last election by like 546 votes. She's definitely a vulnerable candidate. Okay? I would suggest that these two things being on the ballot, that could easily drive, 550 votes that would go the other way. So it depends. It depends on the same thing that elections always depend on: who shows up. The Republican Party as a whole, particularly the far right faction of it, they're not really in a great space right now. There's a lot of talk, and they're keeping their spirits high, but they're not exactly doing well, and they haven't delivered anything for their base. In fact, you've had conversations about that and statements about that in Congress now, where Republicans are like, give me one thing that I can go home and campaign on. And it's crickets. So there is that. However, Boebert, and I know this isn't going to, I know a lot of people watching this channel, it's not going to make a lot of sense. But a lot of people from the far right like her, which is, it is what it is. She is, in many ways, seen as kind of a star within their movement. So she may still drive turnout. But the general take of these ballot initiatives, these things being on the ballot, that's going to help Democratic candidates? Yeah, that's definitely right. So much so that I would expect that, and I haven't looked since I said that initially, but I would expect that the Democratic Party is trying to get things on the ballot for 2024 to drive that turnout for them, because people, they may not show up to vote for candidates that they are lukewarm on. They will show up to vote in favor of their own rights. And they're probably hoping that, well, if they show up to vote for that, they'll vote for the person they're lukewarm on rather than somebody they actively dislike. And it's a sound political strategy, and it'll probably work. So, yeah, I definitely think that those initiatives are going to cause an issue for Boebert. But it's worth remembering this was underway before I said that. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.